is now ready to go, so we're moving on into it. Ban and pick phase will begin, so we'll see if our players are going to be going that route. Now, again, something that you should think about, Tyrael and Arthas will probably be played by Tricked eSport in some way or some form here, just because they really value those heroes. ETC maybe not so much, which opens up for Breeze on the other side, because he loves playing that ATC and he is stellar on it. Breeze is one of the best tanks that you will find in Europe.
I feel like this. Oh, why? Whoa, whoa. What? Tricked. Oh, God. All right. I love it. I love it already.
All right. First pick, Abathur into Tyrael. So things that you start thinking about immediately if you are Fnatic is that you want to be able to get team engages. So you want to grab heroes that allow you to get into the initiations. But again, Tyrael right there, you know that's for Alex Aproji here.
Yeah, there's already many things to talk about. One, Ragnaros obviously is a good go-to or whatever. They ban out Dahaka and then go over towards Abathur. Dahaka is one of the very best Abathur hunters. They wanted to go for this from the very beginning. They wanted to limit the global potential on their opponent's side. I feel that Fnatic has to look for globals right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The next best Worm Hunter or Abathur Hunter would be Falstad. That's the next one that you're fearful of.
Give it to Quack.
At any point. Yeah, give Quack next to that, you can move on in. And then if you find an Abathur Locust's push, it looks refreshed, you can try and fly in and go for a play, and we've seen it before when it comes to Fnatic. So, they grab the engage they want. Breeze here for the ATC, so excited to finally see that here for him, and there's that Falstad. So Fnatic responding just as you would think they would.
Yeah, that's good stuff. There's even the potential for an ETC stage dive, and they can then really kind of coordinate those things between themselves. So it looks like we've got Quack locked in, looks like we've got Breeze locked in because he is a god ETC, and then Wooby locked in there as well. Tricked eSports now has to consider what we want to see from Smexy and Schwimpy, which I don't think they want to try and limit supports. I think they have to target Schwimpy here, so maybe something like a I wanted to say Tychus, but I don't think they're going to run super heavy frontline Tricked.
Isn't Brightwing a Smexy, special? Doesn't he play a really good Brightwing?
He plays a mean Brightwing. Yeah, he plays a mean Brightwing.
I feel like Brightwing would be something that he wants to go towards just with this comp right now. You get really solid engage. You get the Polymorph to maybe interrupt the Tyrael sanctification. Okay. Now Furion gets banned out, which is aggressive here for Tricked eSport. I feel like they could follow up into a third and fourth that deals with Malfurion well. We've already seen the Zeratul into Jaina combo, which I think is really good against Malfurion. You just go burst, and their draft already allows for them to go burst because you have Abathur with Ultimate Evolution, so you can get double Jaina. But if they don't want to go that route, it makes sense. I wouldn't mind an Artanis ban here or something like that. With a Tyrael as a solo warrior, it could be a little bit suspect as to how they were going to work out. If you mix something in like an Artanis from that point on, that front line is relatively stable and has a lot of kill potential behind it as well. So if Fnatic wants to go for something like that, and it combos well with what they already have. You have the movement speed, which allows Artanis to get in there and work those auto attacks in. You get the attack speed on level 4, unless Abathur goes for a Venom Mine build, but even then, that gives you pick potential if you see someone below that walks on a mine. Abathur and Artanis can make sense.
Or do they see combinations? Yeah, so they're getting rid of a Zeratul. Abathur and Zeratul can be really irritating to deal with. And then likewise, because you've got an Abathur on side, you could go Zeratul Jaina and then have a support follow it up. Abathur would obviously be great to actually kind of complement those little scenarios. We all remember the clones of Jaina post a long time ago.
So deadly, and they're still deadly, just kind of falling off slightly. Tychus into Rhaegar. So, Tricked eSports going for the heroes that Alex Aproji has mentioned he feels are powerful. He feels that Tychus and Tyrael in particular are just some of the best that you can pick.
I sort of overstepped the mark with Tricked eSports. I thought maybe they would ban Tychus. Turns out that I was stupid and they had the next pick, so they can just pick it up. That's fine. So they didn't even have to target Schwimpy with a ban. They target him with a pick.
Taking away the Tychus is nicely done here. Fnatic now gets to finish out their roster. Obviously, one of the support. And you want some more wave clear. Well, you got Ragnaros. You got decent wave clear with Falstad. I wouldn't mind a little bit more, though. Just enough to keep the map flowing for you so you don't ever have to deal with Abathur.
I think Li Ming and then probably the Brightwing could be a good 2 picks here. Putting Schwimpy on a Li Ming, we all know that he's good and steady with that kind of hero. Unless they want to go for something crazy. But I think Li Ming or even, I think maybe a Valor could work out. But but Li Ming is my go-to. There we go.
Li Ming and Brightwing. There it is. So Tricked here is stuck with one last more selection. I'm wanting another tank here. Tyrael as a solo tank against a Li Ming is relatively scary. Granted, you can do some strong sanctification plays, but eventually you will run out of luck. Another tank would be good. They're actually going for Illidan, which can be a pseudo-tank with the Metamorphosis, especially with the Abathur hat. We've seen it in the past, so now you get a dive-heavy comp. Brightwing could be a bit fearful to run into, and Mighty Guts with Falstad, but they're looking confident.
I mean, do you remember what we said in the previous series? I think it was Game 2 I was saying, watch out for the potential of an Eternal Illidan.
Yeah.
And we are there. Not only is the Zeratul ban against him anyway, because he's very good on that hero, but you can't really ban out everything from him, so giving him the Illidan in the end, as they've crafted a composition around it very nicely. Tyrael complements him, Abathur complements him, Rehgar complements him, Tychus does Tychus things, I don't know.
Yeah, but if you're a Fnatic, you look on the other side of the draft, are you really that scared of the Illidan? You have your Mighty Gust available, you have your ETC with the power slides into the knockbacks, you can cause separation from those things that complement him. So Fnatic should be in a solid spot overall. We'll see if Eternal can pull this out, man, though, because it looks like it could be an uphill battle. But if they do get started well and they're on even footing going to level 10, Abathur starts to pay off tenfold. So it's all about getting to 10 relatively safely and not getting steamrolled by Fnatic.
The interesting thing to me is that they did go for the Malfurion ban over what could have been a Brightwing ban, considering that they were always aiming for Illidan.
Yeah.
So they're not afraid of the polymorph by the sounds of things.
Yeah,
they almost baited Brightwing.
Yeah, if you don't play overly aggressive as Illidan, you can make it work where you can dive into Brightwings as long as you're able to maneuver around when the polymorph comes out. If you ever get rooted, it just feels hard to make any movement happen. So I guess it does make sense. Both have their both strengths, but it feels like they feel a little bit more confident against the Brightwing. But let us know at home, what do you think about this draft? Do you think Illidan's going to pull it off? Do you think Tyrael's going to go ham mode? Let us know at Heroes Esports and use the hashtag HGC. Kalaris, I want one answer here. Fnatic or Tricked Esports? Who takes it?
Fnatic.
Fnatic.
It's going to be difficult to go up against the powerhouse that is Fnatic currently. They've been on the same page for a long time. We saw that at BlizzCon. They were able to fell the Kings in MVP Black. It wasn't the strongest MVP Black of all time, but it was still MVP Black.
Yeah.
So I think they're coming into HGC very, very hungry.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean with Fnatic as well here. I think overall both teams are in a comfortable position. Alex Prodigy loves to play from home as well. Lands are the environments where it feels a little bit awkward for them, but them being home, I could see this being an even matchup, but I give it to Fnatic 60-40.
All right. Well, we are almost ready to go on Towers of Doom.
We are getting there. We're getting all nice and set up, and we'll move on in. I'm just going to be watching, I think, Eternal here on the Illidan. I just want to see how he's going to dance around. And then when we get to level 10, I'm going to be watching for the Falstad and the separation. So, game is now ready to go. We are starting it off. Tricked Esports taking on Fnatic. Game number 1.
All right. Let's get into it. As we have to the left-hand side, it will be the blue team. It will be Tricked Esports, and we have Alex the Pro G going to be playing Tyrael. We have Crosby on Tychus. Nappy will be playing Rehgar. We have Eternal playing Illidan, and Rema Baller will be rounding things out on Abathur.
To the far right of the map of Towers of Doom, we have Quacknix on the Falstad. Schwimpy playing on Li Ming. Smexy here with the Brightwing. Wubby pulling out the Ragnaros, and Breeze, last but not least, playing ETC.
All right, let's see it. This is Fnatic post second place at BlizzCon 2016. What a monumental achievement that was for not only Europe, because we're a fantastic region, let's face it, but also for Fnatic. Probably them more so than Europe, let me think.
I mean, if you were actually there, the crowd was outstanding. Everyone was totally into it. There was a moment where actually at the main stage, there was Heroes of the Dorm running there. It was super busy, and then everyone heard that Fnatic was going crazy, so everyone ran over, and it was just completely compact, and Fnatic just delivered. The house shook afterwards. So just a note for you guys at home, one of our players has DC'd. They are currently reconnecting, so we will jump into the game as soon as that is possible. But yeah, man, Fnatic, BlizzCon 2016 was definitely their biggest moment.
Yeah, and it's funny to think actually that Alex would have been there if he hadn't have had, a few personal issues with it. Like, he would have actually been with Dignitas. Yeah. Unless for some reason something else happened and Nathu had to actually step in during that. But yeah, he would have been there as well. So he is another BlizzCon qualifier from 2016 that unfortunately couldn't be there. So again, this is why people are touting Tricked eSports as one of those teams that can certainly cause massive upsets, because they've got players with that kind of skill level.
Yeah, if you're new, the caliber of players that we're going to witness today is just the top of Europe. So let's do it. Our players have reconnected, moving back into Towers of Doom. Game number 1, Tricked eSports taking on Fnatic.
All right. We'll see how these builds shape up as well as we get back into Towers of Doom. It doesn't look like too much craziness to start things off here, other than the fact that Battered Assault here for Illidan, which is becoming a whole lot more common now than any Immolation builds. It just makes, if you end up in a 2v1 situation, you can get a lot out of it compared to other spots.
All right, let's talk about the keys to the game here for Tricked eSports. First off, they need to take Fnatic to small battlegrounds. Their global coordination is absolutely ridiculous. Fnatic, they know how to work together. They know how to find isolation picks, especially when they have the ball stat. Take them to smaller battlegrounds to reduce that risk of getting picked off. And then from there, rotate heavily. This is a team that works together well when they're in 3 to 4 stacks. They have that camaraderie. They've played together. They've got the history. It can be great for them. Eternal already starting some aggression here on Quacknix in the top. Quacknix will be forced to retreat here, but the wave already pushing for Eternal.
You're absolutely right, though. We have to keep our eyes on Eternal. He's going to be one of the bigger playmakers in this series here for Tricked eSports. Not to take anything away from the rest of their members, but he's the guy that's going to be playing those flashy characters, those heroes that are going to be wanting to dive in deep at the front. And he'll be diving in along with his buddy, Alex the Pro G.
Something to note is just a trend that we're starting to see a lot is if there are Ragnaroses on the opposing team, Illidan seems to be a solid answer. You're able to dodge Saphira Smash, which can be a number of the damage available. But luckily for Fnatic, they've really molded out the rest of their comp here with the Leeming to have damage to help supplement if that doesn't follow up. But it is something to note. Maybe in the future we'll see more Illidans against Ragnaros.
Yeah, maybe. Now, because Tricked eSports does have Abathur available to them, the longer these Shrine phases go on, it could be better for Tricked eSports if they have Abathur in the right place soaking, but they always have to be careful of the fact that Quacknix can fly in and cause that poor little slug some problems.
Yeah, they can. Breezo is being dived on here. We're going to have a Brightwing try to phase shift in, unfortunately not able to do so. A quick pick turns into a quick alter taken here for Tricked eSports.
That's actually quite an impressive feat there from Tricked eSports to catch out someone like Breeze, who is notoriously good on this hero and almost always what's the best way Dread calls it? A statistical anomaly? Very, very strong play normally comes out of Breeze. So, yeah, good catch there by Tricked eSports.
And I like the play. Normally when you're playing against the Falstad or Globals, you try to play safe on the left side, especially when you have an Abathur.
Yeah.
And you just grab the Ultra because it's free. But they went for an aggressive play to shake up the norm here against Fnatic, and it paid off greatly for them. They get a couple of shots. They are now ahead 36-32.
Nape actually going for a less common build with Rehgar. Of course, level 4 is very common, but level 1 we often see the Totem talent coming in to then synergize with Earthscraft Totem later on at 16. So he wants to be a speedy wolf, does Nape. He wants to be darting in and out and juking and jiving.
Yeah, it helps a lot with guiding Illidan and taking care of him.
Yeah,
You're able to go into wolf form and just float around the outskirts, and you also get juke potential, but you also can make sure you get in those clutch heals when he needs them. So while a bit of a deviance, you can see why it could work out. They're really putting all their chips into Eternal.
Yeah, I like it. It's cool. And obviously, I love this level 4 talent from Tyrael. Tyrael used to be my absolute bae, but it's Heroic Reforging at level 4. So not going all the way down the Smite talents or even some kind of some longevity talents, just looking to have Eldruin's Might available at any time possible, because it will reduce the cooldown significantly when hit.
All right, we're about to hit level 7. Some pressure already from Fnatic as they're starting to get control of the Mercenaries on the right side. They just also dealt with the pressure that came from Tricked eSports. Now, there is one altar spawning in the next 17 seconds. But let's look at the top lane as Illidan is actually diving into Quacknix because he wants to give room for these Mercenary camps to break down the turret.
Yep, bring it down. Bit of a shame that middle one actually hit the gate. Could have got a bit more damage done to that tower and probably killed it or rest off, considering the gate was only about 10% health or so. Alex the Pro Jeep going in hard on towards Shrimpy, trying to delay Smexy from doing much at all, and he does actually stop that capture for the moment.
A little bit of a dance back and forth. Out there still just sitting in the middle lane behind towers. We do have Quacknix soaking lanes at the same time. So a bit of a 4-on-4 down here with the random Abathur hat to help out with the engagement. We'll watch our Thurnal because it'll probably be the one that screams for it. Alex Aproji is actually holding that choke relatively well. Thurnal looking for an engage, but you want to be careful in that area because there are turrets right on the right side of that bush that will start shelling away on.
Breeze tries to get away. That's going to be Illidan going in pretty deep on towards him though, and he manages to move out regardless. Thurnal and Alex Aproji need to absolutely be on the same page if they're wanting to go into the stack that we're seeing from Fnatic, and they will push them away. That's going to be a capture for our little Brightwing.
And I like the moment that Falstad flew into the bottom lane, after burrowed on the top and started soaking 2 lanes at the same time. Now that he realizes everyone's already pulling back, he's playing safe. I'm loving the Abathur play. If you have a chance, just watch the mini-map, and you'll constantly see how he moves and how he responds to the Falstad. That's a major contender for him and his movement.
And you can see that back there from the Falstad. I don't know if he did have Fly available. It must have been on cooldown for just a little bit. He wants to get back to that top lane as quickly as possible. Quicker for him to back and then walk up there than it is for him to actually just walk through middle lane, etc. So small things for Quack, just kind of min-maxing.
Yeah. Well, aggression in the bottom right. We have Wubby, Breeze, and crew trying to grab the mercenary camps. Falstad's flying in from the side here, going to help out. The immediate pressure on a Thurnal. There is a polymorph. Alex Aproji is trying to hold it down, but he just can't do so. Nice heals from Nape here. Here goes Breeze. There goes the clan. Can he get away? No, the final hit there from Schwimpy.
He felt desperate. He felt really desperate because he could have thrown Eldruin's Might just a little bit further, but in a fluster of panic, he threw it a short distance and was unable to get away there. A little bit of a shame for Arterial.
And Fnatic goes with the punish here. They naturally lead in the game, about to hit 10, have mercenary pressure on the fort, and this will be a dead fort. So 5-3 in the next altar phase. She'll be spawning within the next 20 seconds.
All right, so we have Sulfurous Smash, we have Mosh Pit coming in, Mighty Gust. It's going to be that Blink Heal, and finally, what are we going to see from Li Ming?
Li Ming holding her ultimate here, trying to figure out what would be the best choice to go for. Wave Force makes sense against meta. Morphosis, but also getting Disintegrate can also be great for finishing kills. So Fnatic just holding on for a little bit. Thurnal trying to retreat. They do hit 10, so there are the choices: Metamorphosis, Ancestral Healing, Odin, and Sanctification.
Yeah. That would have been a difficult getaway there for Illidan if Napa hadn't been there actually to allow him to use Friend or Foe, that level 4 talent. But he does manage to escape. It's going to be altar for altar by the looks of things, but it's in favor of Fnatic. They have that bell tower down to the bottom left-hand corner. And normally, Trick, you see that kind of like choking, constriction down towards the bottom left when you see that kind of bell tower being taken, but Fnatic doesn't really care too much about it.
Fnatic doesn't care much about anything right now. In fact, they're grabbing this boss over here on the left. And Tricked eSports just doesn't seem to really have a lot of wave clear, so they keep staying on top of mercenary camps, grabbing these bosses. They're going to find these opportunities arise more often.
Oh, jeez. Getting some of those sappers to try and do some damage here, but here comes Crosby and Napa on towards Whoopi. He's gone quite far. He's going to have to use Molten Core, but he will get knocked out of it there for the moment. Smexy tries to come in to help things out, so Furious Smash didn't do much. Smexy blink heals out towards the wave, and Breeze comes in to say, no, I am your bodyguard.
Solid grenade from Crosby, getting that kill on Ragnaros, and that is very helpful here for Tricked eSports. Getting a kill or two can be one of those moments where you're like, okay, we've got this game. We're playing against these amazing players and a fantastic team, but hey, we've got to kill. Even if they did make a mistake, it's something that we can utilize here. They grab the fort back at the bottom left. However, Quacknix was pushing in the top lane, so there are some turret damage there as well. In terms of wave control, Abathur is going to be working the overtime.
Yeah, he is. He really is. I think one thing that's important to emphasize here is that by no stretch of the imagination is it going to be easy for Tricked eSports to actually overcome the victory. We've been talking about them a lot, but we haven't been talking that much about Fnatic in our intro because they're the kings. They do not need to be introduced. They are the absolute powerhouse here in Europe. It's going to be difficult for Tricked eSports to actually fight against them, as remember Baller is actually using Ultimate Evolution on towards it. Double Illidan on Breeze. Will it be able to kill him off? Smex is keeping him alive. Might need to use Gust. No, not even.
Nice job holding on to that Gust. I think a lesser player would have used it there, and they would have wasted it, even though it was just an Ultimate Evolution from Abathur. Now they can heal up. Breeze is going to go ahead and tap in, go back to full health, and now they have a chance here to fight over the altar. Ragnaros, once again, down the bottom right from Wubby, will slow down this fight.
Molten Core is the perfect delay tactic to use against Commandeer Odin. You don't necessarily, as Fnatic, need to take this fight at all. I can't believe they've pushed them off, actually. But they have, and you could just poke away at that altar with Molten Core if you wanted alone to actually deal with that. So Tricked eSports backs off from that fight.
Yeah, they just had to walk away. Ragnarok just slowed it down enough. We had a Tyrael that was half health. He didn't really have a number advantage either, just because the ultimate evolution was used at that point. So you had to either have a god tier fight or a solid engage.
Were they level 13 actually when they were Fnatic level 13 when Tricked backed off? Ah,
yeah,
okay.
They were slightly level 13 too. Just
that makes a lot more sense.
So many things just wasn't going the way of Tricked eSport. They pull back and go for the play, but Fnatic isn't stopping. They're keeping up with the push.
Yes, they are, and even with the Sapper camp now coming along, it's going to mean extra shots here if they're not careful. Actually, whoa, Infernal! Oh my god, that could be no man's land, my friend. You need to get out of there for the moment. He will go to the safety of the other side of that bell tower and claim it. So trade for trade. But I think, did shots get fired by those Sappers towards the bottom? I don't think so. I think it got cleaned up. Okay.
They get cleaned up. They did get the mercenary camps on the top and they put pressure on the court, but they'll be able to grab this back. Quacknix was actually very low on HP, but Smexy showed up just in time there to make sure to secure his teammate the escape. They did, however, use Mighty Gust, so something to worry about for the next 20 seconds.
Yeah, definitely got to keep tabs on that. As Alex Proji, Crosby, and Nappy moving towards the bottom here. Illidan's cleaning up the bell tower. That's actually one thing that's very good on this map. You can leave Illidan pretty much at a bell tower alone if you lose one or if you're trying to gain one, and he'll do the job for you. Nice and dandy while you're trying to prioritize things elsewhere.
Yeah, and you have to do an elaborate gank, if you will, to catch the Illidan too. You need someone to come from the side, you need to bait out his sweeping strike and potentially his dive as well if there's structures around. Illidan just such a pain to deal with in these forts. Now we are in the 5th phase of the game in terms of altar spawns. All 3 are here for the next 15 seconds. We do have Li Ming in the bottom, ETC and Ragnar, so they're going to try and hold down that area, while Quacknix and Smexy do have the tools to slow down the push here. Tricked eSports is doing the same strategy they did at level 1.
Oh, Foul rolls away, gets out of range of that totem before he gets thrown down. As Alex going to channel this one. A good invade here, something that I feel that they had to kind of do. That's going to be Gust being used. The Molten Core would have finished it anyway. He would have been able to deny, but it's okay.
Slight miscommunication, but still Mighty Gust is down for the next 50 seconds. Ultimate Evolution has not been used yet. Abathur is in the bottom lane currently soaking. This is the time of fight. If they do want to fight 15 to 14, they just elect to pull back though and grab this altar. Fnatic gets 2, and Tricked only gets 1.
I love that Fnatic actually just didn't give a damn about their opponent's altar. Go elsewhere, find yourself at level 16. You've got so many shots in the bank for Fnatic that you don't need to take those risks.
Yeah, no risks are needed here. Just move to 16 and keep rotating around the map. Keep up with the Falstad, keep up with the Abathur. Don't give Abathur any leeway, and you're good to go. Falstad is up in the top, but there are 4 people invading on the bottom right. It seems that they're getting their pattern here. This has been happening 2 or 3 times now. They grab their mercenary camps and they charge into their mercenary camps on the right, and Fnatic has caught onto it. I loved their setup. Breeze was in a position to scout it out, and they had 3 people in the bottom right to help poke and maybe deter them away from doing this.
Yeah, this is cool by Tricked eSports, just to have Nappe and Crosby lurking on the wings. Alex the Pro G can always get out with his Eldaruin's Might if he needs to, so he's fine to steal that camp in essence. Look at him actually threw Eldaruin's Might there just in case ETC was to get low enough with this trifecta of damage, because then he could block him out, but didn't see the reason to, and we'll just back away.
That was 6 sappers, but Schwimpy did such a good job of landing ores on the important mercenaries, so they got just killed off immediately, and Webby finished up with the Empower Sulfuris. He just walked in, hit Q, and they killed up a majority of those, and the turrets just soaked up the last 2 shots. So nice crisis management by Fnatic, not taking any damage on their 4, and they are level 16 versus Tricked eSports. But this is where the power spike starts to hit, both for Illidan and Tyrael. Tyrael now picking up holy ground.
I like that Tricked has caught up a little bit here in terms of that experience, so that 16 doesn't hit too late for them, and it will be holy ground, of course, the choice, as you were mentioning, like with that power spike at 16, and it can be scary. So Fnatic does have to be worried about how Alex is going to play this. Will he throw out Eldaruin's Might anytime soon? He's looking for choke points, and he's in the right spot to try and rival these altars at the moment.
Claris, I feel like this is the time to make a play. It's 25 to 9. You will take 8 shots here. If both ultimates are grabbed, you might even lose the game if 4 is taken. Alex Aproji does move in, bringing out the smite here. Does he try to set up for a holy ground engage? There is Eldruin's might. We do have Crosby popping Odin at the moment, going in for the engage. But honestly, Fnatic is in a spot right now where they don't have to fully move on in. They have Ragnaros now for the poke.
Channeling up to the top. Illidan, actually, I was expecting Wubby to throw even just a Runic Blast or the Meteors up towards that to stop that happening. And Nappa's going to try and channel this one. Meteors will land there for a moment.
That was actually well done. Crosby going into Odin made Fnatic back up.
Yeah.
Nappy and Illidan grabbed both all at the same times, so Ragnaros couldn't stop both of them.
Oh, Ragnaros is stuck! Ragnaros is stuck! Is he going to be killed off? Here, Sanctification's been used! That's Ragnaros falling! Tricked eSports with the perfect little engagement there. Eternal has to dash out for the moment. He could have taken some damage from Shrimpy in terms of a combination, but now will just back off for a second. A good kill there onto Ragnaros.
That it was. An Ultimate Evolution is not available for the next 13 seconds. But still pressure here from Alex Aproji and Eternal. They're just putting them up a little bit here. Breeze has no way to actually move into that fight. Meanwhile, Abathur did push top lane and got that wall nice and deteriorated a little bit too. So overall, Tricked eSports comes out pretty nicely after that, and they're making a bit of a comeback.
Love to see the tweets there with the hashtag HGC. Just in case anyone's wondering, Pontus is Breeze. So that is his real name. Obviously, a Swedish. It's a very common name in Sweden, actually.
Pontus is?
Yes, very common.
The things you learn here on HGC. Tricked eSports going for the evade once again. Breeze has had enough of it. He power slides away and tries to hold the camp, but there is the ultimate evolution. Sulfuris match comes in and hits Alex Aproji, and there will be no deaths for now.
This is still a potential turnaround here completely for Tricked eSports if they keep on this path, as Alex Aproji needs to be healed up a little bit more before he's able to do anything out the front. That's just the ultimate evolution of Rema. They don't really care. They'll ignore that. They'll turn their attention to these sappers. And look at that. Dead even on experience, Trick.
Dead even. And we have Fnatic pushing in and moving for this fort with Ultimate Evolution being down and Illidan in the middle. This is where you make your advancement. Applying a little bit of pressure on the fort, but the moment Illidan disappears, you see Breeze move up and start zoning, and all the other 4 members pull down to the right. Nice movement by Fnatic in terms of the rotations.
Thermal needs to move away from there. And
oh, wow.
Even, okay. He should be coming back into the fight, though. He doesn't want to make too much of a waste of that. Quacknix is taking a lot of damage up towards the top. Gust comes out. He manages to get away, only by the Gust.
Wow. Trades overall, these last 2 fights now have been fights that no one has died in. Even the third one to a degree, except for the Ragnaros, just because this team seemed to be so evenly matched in terms of team fight potential. And map control, I give it a little bit more to Fnatic, because really doesn't have that here. It's not going too crazy.
Mosh.
There goes the Mosh, though. Ancestor Healing does pop off on Alex Aproji. Eternal moves in, but there's a severe smash to deny Eternal as he is taken out there. And now the rest of the team here for Tricked eSports is falling slowly victim here to Quacknix and his engage. You know what? He gets hit by the holy ground. He was about to fly away, and he actually is taken out. Crazy heads-up play there by Alex Aproji.
I think for Tricked eSports, once Eternal dies on that Illidan, I think it's Jenga. I think the whole thing comes tumbling down if they're not careful. So now I think they have to back off from this fight. They're doing damage to Wubby here, but he's not going to die off from that little bit of damage from Crosby, and Fnatic will take advantage of that.
They will. They get 2 kills overall, but I just want to give a heads-up play to Alex Aproji there, taking out Quacknix. Quacknix got a little bit too comfortable and wanted to fly down the altar and just grab it, and he got picked off. But still, a 2-for-1 trade, and that still comes out ahead, especially with them getting that fort. There's still pressure at the very top as well, and that fort's already getting low at the same time. These bell towers just, and such dire situations where they could be killed off at any point.
I think you mentioned it during the draft, though, or just after the draft when we were going in. It's that Illidan is one of the better assassins at trying to avoid Sulfura Smash, but if he doesn't, that's the result. He gets popped, and absolutely Eternal cannot be in those situations. Otherwise, as I say, his team will have a hard time.
Eternal is brave here. He sets up in between the 2. He's back in enemy lines, but he's doing a great job, especially with Rimmer Brawler coming in with the Illidan Ultimate Evolution. There goes the engage. Sanctification does pop out. Breeze in the front line, taking low HP. Mighty Gust will be used to start the disengage.
Shots at bottom. Shots at bottom. They're not paying attention to it.
It's 3 shots.
Abathur, slap
Can he stop it? Get it, Abathur!
Get him! No.
He's trying here. He gets a Locust, but here comes Quacknix! They get a kill, and they get 3 shots on the core, and they drop down to 2, 17-2. Fnatic in the lead.
Get him, Quack, get him!
That awareness. Abathur just showed up there. Insanely well done.
Hold on.
Crosby taking some damage here on the right side as well. Now 2 ultras coming.
Trixler, what is it about this spot in HGC Europe? Because that right there, Quack Nix with the play. I love it. Alex the Pro G, though, going to launch himself in against that false start along with the Thunder. Oh, there was the Molten Smash there. There's going to be the Metamorphosis into the Ancestral Heal that was able to dodge the Molten Smash as well as the Sulfura Smash. And that is going to be even on towards that mosh pit. Nappa taking a lot of damage. He will end up falling in the backlines. Alex the Pro G goes down. The Ragnaros is out and about, and they are looking for the victory here.
Fnatic are already channeling the Ultra over here with 4 members down for Tricked eSports. Illidan just spawns, but it will not be enough. The last couple of shots go for the core, and that's going to be GG.
Oh, I love HGC Europe, my friend. I love it.
I gotta agree with you, man. First off, Quack Nix, what a heads-up play. He was staring at his mini-map after just showed up, flew in, made the